Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to class number 2 of the online learning course presented by the Paradise Academy. The class will be presented in the same manner as it was yesterday, so we will start with learning a few new letters of the Arabic alphabet. Before we move on to the new letters, I want to do a quick recap of the 7 letters we learned yesterday. I hope everyone has had a chance to learn them. So let's quickly run through these letters. Repeat after me. Alif, Ba, Ta, Tha, Jim, Ha, and Kha. Well done. So moving on to today's letters. The first letter is Dal. 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 The sound of the letter Dal comes when the tip of the tongue touches the gums behind the front 2 teeth, similar to one of the words we learned yesterday, which was Da. So one more time. Dal. Moving on. The next letter is Dhal. 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 The sound of the letter Dhal comes when the tip of the tongue touches the bottom edge of the front 2 central teeth, similar to the English words the, then, and they. So one more time. Dhal. Moving on. The next letter is Ra. 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 The sound of the letter Ra comes when the tip of the tongue touches the upper hard palate at the front. So when the tip of the tongue touches the roof of the mouth at the front, similar to the English word raw. This letter is pronounced full mouth and on occasions empty mouth. So one more time. Raw. Moving on. The next letter is Z. 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 The sound of the letter Z comes when you bring your teeth together and release, similar to the English word zap and zoo. So one more time. Z. Moving on. The next letter is Sin. 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 The letter Sin comes when you bring your teeth together and release, similar to the English word seen. So one more time. Sin. The next letter is Sheen. 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 The sound of the letter Sheen comes when the center of the tongue touches the palate, similar to the English word sheet. So one more time. Sheen. The next word is sword. 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 For the letter sword, you bring your teeth together and release, somewhat similar to the English word muscle. This letter is pronounced full mouth with a slight whistling sound. So one more time. Sword. And the last letter for today's lesson is Dwad. 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 For the letter Dwad, the upturned side of the tongue touches the gums of the back teeth. This letter is pronounced full mouth. So one more time. Dwad. Well done. So now let's quickly run through all the new letters that we have learned today. So repeat after me. Dal. Dhal. Ra. Za. Sin. Sheen. Sword. Wad. Well done. I will now pass on to Qari Hanif Saab, who will do a little recitation from the Quran. Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In today's lesson, we're going to learn Surah An-Nas, inshallah. Let's start reading. أعوذ So here I want to explain the Hamza we read from bottom of our throat and Ain we read from middle of our throat. So Hamza bottom of throat, Ain middle of throat. A'udhu. That very soft letter between the teeth. A'udhu. Let's say again. A'udhu billahi. This ha, small ha, bottom of our throat. Billahi من الشيطان. طا is full mouth letter. من الشيطان between the teeth. من الشيطان الرجيم. Ra full mouth. Strongly join noon with a ra. الرجيم. Let's see surah name. Surah الناس. Surah الناس Makkiyah. This surah called Makkiyah because this is revealed in Makkah. That's why it's called Makkiyah. Bismillahir Rahman. Bismillahir Rahman. So first ha is bottom of throat. Here. The second ha, this is big ha, middle of our throat. So we say rah. Then also the third ha is also from middle of our throat. So second and third, they both ha, they both from middle of throat. Big ha. Rahmanir Rahim. Rahmanir Rahim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قل أعوذ قل أعوذ برب الناس. We need to hold on noon because noon has tashdid. Whenever a letter noon comes with tashdid, we hold the letter and we read through our nose. We call it gunna. So we're gonna do gunna on noon. قل أعوذ برب الناس. Ra full mouth. برب الناس ملك الناس ملك الناس إله الناس إله الناس من شر وسواس خناس A lot of scenes taking place in this surah, so make sure read scene with the whistling sound and read empty as much you can, because scene and swad, they're both very similar sounds. So make sure read the scene very empty and swad you read full mouth. So they are scenes, so say very whistling sound. من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في استجتفا في صدور الناس So here this swad is full mouth letter, not seen. صدور الناس من الجنة من الجنة والناس والناس. So we try to read word by word, inshallah. So we're going to read this time full verse. Verse mean like circle to circle. Let's start reading. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. سورة الناس مكية. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. صدق الله العظيم.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Lesson number 2, Nasiha. Today we're going to talk about Allah is Razaq. Allah is the true provider. But before we go on to today's lesson, let's just recap yesterday's lesson. Yesterday we talked that Muslims believe in 7 articles of faith, which is known as Iman Mufassal. So I believe in Allah, His angels, His books, His messengers, the last day, the Qadir, fate, and life after death. So yesterday we mentioned that we don't worship anybody except for Allah. Allah is one. He has no parents. He has no children. Allah is not in need of anybody. But we are all dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the whole purpose of our creation is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then that leads on to us onto today's lesson, which Allah is Razaq. Allah is the true provider. What has Allah not provided for us? Now, if we see around us, Allah has given us everything. The clothes that we wear, from the food that we eat. Allah has given us brains to seek knowledge. Allah has given us the strength to go out and work. All these are blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the true provider of everything. How fortunate we are that we have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah, He creates all means of nourishment, sustenance. For us to take care of ourselves, we are in need of food, we are in need of water. For us to survive, we are dependent on these things. And who provides for us? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so many times, from where Allah provides for us is ajib. So everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes care for us. Allah provides for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention in the Quran, وَمَا مِن دَابَةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا, that there is no creature on this earth but that upon Allah is His provision. Allah provides from the fishes in the seas to the birds in the skies. Every single human, every single bird, every single plant, every single creation of Allah is in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah ta'ala, He providing us nourishment every single day for us to survive, for us to be healthy. So Allah ta'ala is that true provider. And remember, your rizq is written for you. But in order for you to unlock that door, you need to work and strive to achieve rizq. Everything that we are meant to get and that's written for us, we will get. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written rizq for us. And so many times we see that we were about to eat some food, but it wasn't destined for us. So we don't, somebody else takes that food, and because that wasn't written for us. And many times from where you don't even imagine, Allah provides for you. And that reminds me of a story. Once the Sahabas, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they were on a journey and their food had run out, and they were living of dates and water. And when the dates ran out, they started eating the leaves of the trees. So they were really hungry and starving. Then they came and reached the coast where they saw a large mound. When they came near, they saw it was a huge fish known as Al-Ambar. Hazrat Jabir radhiyallahu anh, he says that 300 of us ate for a whole month. And not only did we eat from it, we packed the meat and we took it home with us back to Medina. And we came back to Medina and we informed the Nabi of Allah that this is what happened to us. And the Prophet ﷺ, he replied, that was food which Allah has brought out for you from the ocean. Allah has provided you that. So look at these Sahabas. They were hungry for days. They were just surviving on little food, dates. And they didn't even imagine that from the fish in the sea, Allah would provide for them. But Allah provided them. So where we can't even imagine, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He provides for us. So remember, Allah is a true provider. But as a Muslim, we have to strive. We have to achieve that rizq. When Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he left his wife Hajra alayhi salam and his son Ismail alayhi salam in Mecca, he left them with some provisions. But after a little while, all that food had run out. The Hajra alayhi salam, she knew Allah is the true provider. And now they have no food, nothing left. So she ran to Safa, to Marwa, from Mount Safa to Marwa. And as she was running from Mount Safa to Marwa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided them with water, Zamzam. Under the feet of Ismail alayhi salam, a little water appeared. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the true provider. But we as Muslims have to go out and search for that rizq. Got to search and strive to achieve rizq and sustenance. And remember, all the creation of Allah rely on Allah's sustenance. We are all in need to survive. We are all in need of Allah's rizq. So, how can we increase our rizq? How can we increase this sustenance? First of all, as a Muslim, Allah and His Rasul have provided us guidelines that how can we increase rizq sustenance in our life. First and foremost, we need to apply taqwa. We need to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should do those actions that please Him and stay away from those actions that displease Him. Second of all, we should put all our trust in Allah. Tawakkul, that Allah will provide for me. However big or little, the true provider is Allah. And from where we won't imagine, Allah will provide for us. But but we got to place our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another thing we should do, and our Prophet encouraged us, is keep good relationships. By keeping good relationships, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases the rizq. So we shouldn't break up with our family members or our friends. We should be building relationships, building bonds, and not breaking them. By building relationship, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps on providing for you. Another point is that we should always be grateful. Whenever Allah has given us something, we should say Alhamdulillah. We should praise Allah Ta'ala. We should sing His praises. We should thank Him. When we sit down to eat, we should begin with Bismillah, the name of Allah. When we finish, we should say Alhamdulillah, or praises to Allah. We should be grateful for what He has given us. So, we should always be grateful and thankful towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, when we sit down on our dastakhan, just imagine, and if you think and ponder, the food comes from all over the world onto our table, onto our dastakhan. But who provides this? Allah. How many millions of people are at work? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends rain, everything for the crops to grow. All these things, the people that are working the farms, everything, people that are packing everything up. And then we go and buy it from Morrison's. And then on our dastakhan, when we sit to eat, we have all these fruits. Some of the fruits will be from Spain, from China, from Brazil, from different parts of the world, from rice, from this place and that place. And who's provided everything? It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we should be grateful. Because many people, they want food, but they don't have no food. So we shouldn't waste, and we should be grateful for Allah, what Allah has given us. Like that, we should ask for forgiveness. And when we ask for forgiveness, Allah provides for us. Whenever we commit some wrong, we should say, Astaghfirullah. Allahumma gfirli. Allah, please forgive me. When we do constant istighfar, asking forgiveness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala carries on providing us rizq. But when we stop our istighfar, then we start to think something of ourselves. And then that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stops giving us rizq as well. So we should always seek Allah's forgiveness. Like that, we should also give out in charity. Give sadaqah. Help those people that are less fortunate than ourselves. By giving out in charity, Allah provides us more. We don't go poor, but we become more rich. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases our rizq when we help the people that are less fortunate than ourselves. And finally, we should recite the Quran. By reciting Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He provides more and more rizq. We should recite Surah Waqiyah, Surah Mulk. We should recite Surah Yasin in the morning. We should read at least one part of Quran every single day. And the more we do this, the more Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will constantly provide for us. So today's lesson was Allah is Razaq. Allah ta'ala is the true provider in every sense of the way. So we should always acknowledge the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a great quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He provides sustenance for all His creation, the ones that you and me won't even think about. Today we will just think about ourselves, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the small creepy crawlies to the fishes in the sea, to the birds in the sky, and to all the creation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides them sustenance in different ways. Alhamdulillah. That today, this is where we finish our lesson. So next is Hafiz Ismail Saad with lesson number 3.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we will be learning the dua after we wake up. So repeat after me. Alhamdulillahi alladhi ahyana ba'dama amatana wa ilayhin nushur. One more time. Alhamdulillahi alladhi أحيانا بعدما أماتنا وإليه النشور. Okay, we'll go over it together, okay? الحمد لله الذي أحيانا بعدما أماتنا وإليه النشور. One more time. الحمد لله الذي أحيانا بعدما أماتنا وإليه النشور. Okay, boys. Now we're going to go over the dua that we did yesterday, which was dua before we go asleep. Okay? We read this one together. Allahumma bismika amutu wa ahya. Allahumma bismika amutu wa ahya. And the dua after we wake up. الحمد لله الذي أحيانا بعدما أماتنا وإليه النشور. Very good.